Welcome to Gap Mastermind, another amazing session. Hope everybody's having a good, amazing day today. And we're hitting that spring time now. Time just changed, daylight savings. I know a lot of people are still adjusting, and I'm just excited to be here with everyone today. And we have an amazing session. And before we get into the session, I just want to say, guys, there might be one person right now that's needing the message that we're going to be delivering today. I have a powerful speaker, amazing content. This could literally make the difference, not just for you, but for somebody else. So who do you need to text right now, message right now, poke right now that needs to be in this room, right? So let's take 5-10 seconds and make that reach out, because you can make the difference. You can make the difference. And it doesn't have to be somebody within our organization, within EXP, although make sure you reach out to some of your friends in EXP as well. But it can be somebody in another brokerage, right? We want to make an impact. We want to add value. We want to help all the people that we can, all the real estate agents that we can, to continue to thrive. So as always, very, very excited to be with you here. And I'm wearing my Bill shirt because Bill at Sea is coming. And I'm going to give you guys an opportunity later to be the first ones to register. Isn't that amazing? You get the first tickets, the best prices, just for being here in the room and being connected. So I'll do that for you in a little bit. But without further ado, let's dive right in. Let's welcome our powerful speaker of today. And we're going to be talking about the topic of leveraging events to build loyalty and referrals. All right? This is the lowest cost per lead you can get. Leveraging those referrals, leveraging client loyalty, and creating a community. So we have Jessica Way, who's a top producer coming from Georgia, live to us today. And she's not just a friend and top producer of our organization, but she's just a powerhouse with over 12 years of experience in the industry. She's led teams, been a broker, all at a high level. She's been recognized and featured by Real Trends, top 1% agents in the whole United States. And she just focuses on innovating and thinking ahead, but also knowing that there's some basics that need to be mastered. And one of those basics that we need to master as agents is those referrals. And what better way than leveraging client events to do it? So she's an industry leader. She's an influencer. She's somebody, again, that we love as part of our organization. Jessica, spring the fire. Excited to have you here.
Awesome. I'm excited to be here and can't wait for the build at sea. Oh my goodness. I just got off the seascape a couple of weeks ago. I hope I didn't share that. So
Uh,
excited. I went to Build at Sea last year, so that's where I met you guys. So so excited, and I'm excited to be here. But I'm going to try to share my screen, and just bear with me as technology isn't always my friend, but we're gonna go for it. Okay, so can you guys see that? Can you see my slideshow? Or looks
I see you and see the slides.
awesome, awesome. So yeah, so I am Jessica Wade. I am from Gainesville, Georgia. So we are northeast of Atlanta. And I just absolutely love empowering and helping other agents. And I want them to just foster a strong work-life balance. That is something that I'm passionate about and something that I have had to learn sometimes the hard way as I go. So here's a couple pictures of my family. I've been married to my husband 25 years this year, and that's our little doggy. And we were on Seascape a couple weeks ago, and that was fun. And then I have three kiddos, 22, 17, and 24. And none of them want to get into real estate, which I don't understand. Mom's awesome, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. So how did I get here and why am I qualified? And I think Carlos did a great job. I've been at EXP for 2 years. I'll have Icon twice and plan to Icon again the third time this year. So I'm super excited about that. But life wasn't always, sunshines and rainbows in real estate. And I think many of you guys can recognize and appreciate that sentiment because sometimes it can get hard. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about my backstory. So when I got into real estate, I jumped right in. I was an assistant to an agent, and he and I formed a partnership. And I quickly got the number one team at Keller Williams. And you guys might know that in real estate world, sometimes we put things in place that cause us to grow, 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 more, bigger, bigger, better, better. And that's not always the case. We may not always need to be number one. And so I have struggled with wanting to be number one. And I did make number one, but at what cost? And so I want you guys, as we go through today, I want you guys to just kind of think about what I just said. What cost are you looking to be number one? So on the surface, this was wonderful, number one team. And then outgrew that model. And here I am at a ribbon cutting, and we're going to be talking about ribbon cuttings today. But here I am at the ribbon cutting, starting my own brokerage, and just how incredibly excited I was in that moment right there. But what I didn't anticipate was pouring all of my time, energy, and resources into something just because somebody said to do it. And it almost cost me my marriage. I was separated from my husband for 6 months. He was telling me, hey, you need to slow down a little bit. And I was like, you're not going to tell me. I'm building an empire and I want to take over the real estate world. And so those two thought processes were conflicting. And so it caused me to get out of real estate, separate. Thankfully, like I said, miraculously, we did reconcile. But I want to be a voice of reason that this job isn't worth us um, losing our relationships over. And I'm very passionate about that. So closed the brokerage, joined another independent brokerage, was number one for both sales volume and number of transactions of about 100 agents. Super excited. But again, I was so busy chasing all of these leads and chasing all of this stuff that I lost myself in the process. So this is when I really realized either I was going to figure out a way to do business smart and work smarter and not harder because working 24/7, being on call all the time, even though it got me these accolades, it wasn't really giving me my plan and my purpose. And I want you guys to kind of, as I go through this presentation, take the time after this call and really think about what is your plan and what is your purpose. Do you have a proactive business or a reactive business? And when I started to really recognize that referrals are our number one resource, I was able to go from more reactive to proactive. So I just want you guys to kind of keep that in mind as we go through that. So here I am joining EXP, super excited. I did my ribbon cutting and then I attended the events. So if you aren't attending events, you are missing out tremendously. I went to EXPCon in Las Vegas, and that's where I got to meet Glenn. I went to EXP shareholders, and that's where I got to go to Universal Studios, which is the picture on the right. Um, I am going to Cabo this week. I went on the build cruise. I actually went to a couple of builds last year. I went to build Charlotte, build um, at sea. I encourage you guys to please, please attend events because they will take your business to places you can't even imagine. But it kind of is the underlayment of my topic today is how did I use events to get to where I'm at today? So I can make this interactive if you guys want to put it in the chats. Why do we do events? Why do you think we do events? You guys can answer or put it in the chat. Anybody? We get networking opportunities. That's right. Yep, networking. What about when we're doing client appreciation events? We're doing it for our clients, collaboration. Yep, we're putting ourselves in front of our clients. We're maybe treating them to something. We're growing. Absolutely, you guys. I just hosted my first real estate conference. Cannot even tell you how much I had grew that they are, and I want you guys to grow. Yes, lots of learning, but really, why do we do them? So I'm going to answer that question. When you are looking at your business and planning your business, the purpose of the event isn't the event. So I want you to just kind of digest what I just said. The purpose of the event isn't always the event. And this is when we're looking at it from a production side. And the reason is we want the event to give us a reason to reach out to our database in a genuine, personal, authentic way. Whether or not we're reaching out to them with, when I do events, they're going to get a handwritten invitation from me. They're going to get a phone call from me. They're going to get an email from me. They're going to get a text message from me. And that event, regardless of if they show up or not, I have just done 5 touches to one person without any problems. I'm not asking them, are you looking to buy, sell, and invest or real estate? But that always is going to come up when I'm doing that. So when I did, and this is like when I coach agents, I always say do a grand opening, do a ribbon cutting. Even if you've been at EXP for a while or you've been at your brokerage for a while, your database wants to support you and your business. And what better way than to announce, look, I've got something big and exciting. Even if it's not that big and exciting, it is big and exciting for the people who love you. They want to support you. So, in this particular instance, my ribbon cutting, I just invited everybody. I rented a little park on the lake. I'm on Lake Lanier up in Georgia, and I got some ribbon at Michael's, like not that far. And then you guys see the little scissors. Actually, let me see if I can show you the scissors. Buying the big gold scissors for the ribbon cutting, but they're just normal size scissors. But anyway, so you can see in there. I thought I was buying big ones, but they weren't big. And all I did was say, come and support me. I'm going to have a ribbon cutting and I would love your support. Stop by. I had Chick-fil-A box lunches. I said, stop by, have lunch on me, and just visit with some of my friends and family. And then I got some of the other agents in my organization to also do the same thing. We about 50 people show up. Okay. But again, even if I had 0 people show up, the event was a success because I sent them an invitation. I asked them if they received the invitation. I followed up with them. If they were able to make it, I thanked them for coming. If they weren't able to make it, I told them I missed them. But just the fact that they got an invitation from me, they were like, oh, Jessica's in real estate. It didn't have to be I didn't have to ask them if I wanted to be in real estate. So does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions about that? No questions? Okay, we're going to go on. So I have an immediate action item. Friday, March 14th is coming up. Is it this week? Yeah, this week. Friday. Okay, so this is for the people who in your world who may be a little bit more connected into that science world. I will tell you, these pies turned into multiple listings for me. Those pies, just those little pies. And you know why? Because I took those pies to my local government officials. I went in, I have formed a relationship with the people in my community, and I just surprised them. So you can do this one of 2 ways. You can surprise your people with a pie, or you can say, hey, Friday is pie day. I'm going to be picking up some pies. Would you like cherry, pecan, or apple? And then they'll tell you what they want, and then you go deliver it to them on that day. So this is a very, very easy, actionable item. Friday is Friday. But when I go into my local government, they love me, okay? Do you know what else they do? They meet people when they're the local convention and visitors bureau. When people are exploring my community and they want to move into my community, they're usually stopping by there to figure out things about the community. Guess who they refer to those people when they say, "Hey, I'm thinking about moving here. Who, do you guys have a real estate agent to refer to?" On top of mind because I do things like this. So not only am I looking at who can I serve from a one-to-one standpoint, but I look at who can be of influence that can also help me with a referral source. So yeah, this is a very, very successful thing for me. So does anybody have any questions about pies? So either surprise people or no. So this is Southern Baked Pies. It is located in my community, so I can go pick them up. But these guys, these pies were on Oprah's favorite things list, and they ship all over the country. So Southern Baked Pie, if you want to go on there and just order the pies, I they have savory pies and sweet pies. So sometimes if it's a client, I just will send them dinner and a pie. I suppose in gifts, but this is Southern Baked Pie in Gainesville, Georgia. And these were the little individual size. They have the bigger ones as well. But I'm sure you probably have pies and people go back and have the Costco pies and that type of thing. So this is like taking a spin on that Thanksgiving pie thing that we always typically hear, but actually moving it to a different time frame. So that way it's unexpected, but it's kind of cool because people are like, 3.14, I remember that. So like I said, the ROI that I get from Friday and that I have gotten is huge. Well, I cannot even
I love how
tell you.
you turn that into a more regular thing because you're right. Most people do it during Thanksgiving and that's it. And it is expected, right? Surprising them with this pie more regularly is super powerful and takes you back to those touches. So that's awesome. So what are your goals as far as how many times you're doing this throughout the year?
Try to touch my database once a quarter. I try to have at least one event or touch point once a quarter. Um, in the summer months, and I'll explain that to you guys a little bit more, I'm really heavy on events, but anytime that you can touch people, set that goal realistically for you, whatever that looks like.
Awesome.
So here is a community event that we have in our town. I don't know if you guys have anything like this, but we have a scarecrow contest, and you can have your scarecrow set up in our community. This one is such a low hanging fruit item. It cost me like $30. I got the dress and the dog from Goodwill. So and then I got the backdrop on Temu. So this is a very, very low hanging fruit item. Yes. So Friday is coming this Friday. So, but this is sponsored by my downtown district. And again, I said this is where I want to support them and their organization. So it makes sense for me to do these types of events that they host because I'm supporting them and then they in turn support me. So if you start looking at the different events that your community sponsors or offers, see how you can plug into that. Typically, if somebody was like, "Are you going to do a scarecrow downtown?" You might think that's dumb. I'm not going to do that. But if you think you need to form that relationship with the people of your downtown or your convention and visitors bureau or whatever, those are the people that matter. And I will tell you, when I do these things, my sphere of influence is walking by this at different times and they're taking pictures. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I saw your scarecrow." So every year I change it up. This was last year's. But you can change up, but form those relationships, be intentional with the relationships with your people. Okay, so here was a big one. So this is my first Friday concert series. So in my community during the months of May through September, on the first Friday night of every month, they do a free community concert. It is open to everyone in the community. So if I were just starting off with something like this, I would say, look at your community calendar. If you have any free events like this, figure out how to utilize this as a client appreciation event. I do the sponsoring, right? So my pictures on this on the thing. You do not have to go that far. All you have to do is go get a couple of balloons, send those handwritten invitations, send those text messages. Hey, I'm going to be at the free concert this weekend. Look for the balloons, look for the red and green balloons, whatever you want, and put your seat near mine. I'd love to see you. Or what I do is I formed a relationship with our ice cream vendor and I say, hey, stop by the tent and I'm going to give you a coupon for a free ice cream. So then they're looking for me. They're not coming because of me. I'm not the entertainment. I didn't plan the entertainment. I literally am just showing up and giving them a ticket for a free ice cream. But I have sent them a invitation. I have made sure they received the invitation. I have texted them. I've asked if I was going to see them. If they're not there, I tell them I miss them. If they were there, I thank them for coming and I invite them to the next one. So I'm very heavy when it comes to these types of events. But just because you're not a sponsor doesn't mean you can't utilize it in the way that you can make it a client appreciation event. The most I have ever spent on a the night of ice cream and like giving out tons was like $120. So these are very, very low cost ways. I'm gonna see if I am not good with technology, guys, but I'm gonna see if I can play this video. See, can you guys see the video? Okay.
I am so honored to call Gainesville my home. I was raised here and I've chosen to raise my kids here. And I look out amongst this crowd and I am just so thankful for all of you. I want to thank my family, my friends, my clients, the real estate community, and everyone that has come in to participate in this event. Gainesville, we are special.
Okay. So you guys, guess what happened when I got that video? I sent it to the city. Guess what the city did? They shared it with everyone. So when you do these events, figure out ways to take it up a notch, right? It was such a great, and that, I mean, that video was like $400. Again, not very expensive. I want you guys to think, not think but, don't limit yourself, but also realize that it's very attainable, very cost effective to utilize these events to love on your database. When I was, like I said, when I was going from that part of where I had a very reactionary business, I didn't have control of my clients, right? I felt like I had to jump. I felt like I had to run. And when I was trying to decide how I wanted my business to look, if I was going to be successful long term in real estate, I realized I wanted to love on people. That's my heart and that's my passion. And so as I went through that, I realized doing these and touching my database over and over, it really takes your business to a new level, but it gives you a client that appreciates you, that respects you, that wants to work with you. You're not begging them to work with you. They're here, they're ready to work with you. And I'm telling you, the ones that come to me, the referrals that I get from these things, it's unbelievable. So just be, don't make it harder than you think it is, because I promise it's not. So this was another event that I helped some agents organize. And if you guys look, they have a 65-inch TV. Those people are in line to register to win the 65-inch TV. So these people did, this group, they did get together and they rented a booth spot at a Latin festival that we had in our community. But the draw was the TV. So I want to let you know, these people, they had two separate targets. They have your sphere, you're inviting your sphere. Great, I'm going to be at this festival. I want you to come and see me. I want you to say hello. I want to help you in some way, give you that free ice cream ticket, whatever it is you want to do to love on your sphere. Just saying hello is enough. That's all you could do. Just have them come sit near you and say hello. But these people had the TV. And what that allowed them to do is collect demographic information from the people who were attending the festival that weren't a part of their database already. And I will tell you guys, this TV was so well received. Everybody wanted to win the TV. Again, lower cost item, 300-400 bucks. It's a pretty stinking big TV. So don't overcomplicate this at all. So does anybody have any questions for me about festivals or events or the way that I kind of set these up? No questions? Okay.
You're crushing it. I mean, obviously, as you can see in the comments, everybody is just in awe with some of the amazing ideas. So keep it up.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So a lot of times my question is, who do I invite to these things? So I have a handout. If you guys want to scan that QR code, I can get you the handout. It is a Discovering Your Sphere handout. People will say, I don't have a sphere. I don't know who to invite. This doesn't make sense. And I'm like, you have people you can invite. You guys, there are more people that know, like, and trust you than you probably imagine. And if you were to sit down and just kind of go through some of these things, who's your mailman? Does anybody keep in touch with who their FedEx guy is or their UPS guy? Those people are people that you need to know and you need to start forming a relationship with. So you can fill this out. I can shoot you guys an email. It's just like 3 pages worth of questions, and it'll help you grow that database so that way you do have people that you can love on and who can love on you and be reciprocal. And typically that turns into real estate business. So let's see. So my parting words in my summary is, don't let anyone over motivate you. So I was over motivated for a lot of my career in real estate. It wasn't until 2022 that I took control of my business. And I did that by really focusing on my purpose and my passion. And my passion is people. And that's where I started to really utilize events at a very high level. And guys, it is amazing what happens when you really are focused on something you're passionate about. When the people, it just comes back. So this is your business. Craft it any way you want. And yes, so, and those are where you can find me. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So if you have any questions or comments or thoughts, um, I would love to help you guys. So that's all I have for today, Carlos.
Love it, love it, love it. Well, we're gonna dive a little bit deeper here because I have a lot of questions. I mean, the biggest thing that we see people struggle with is planning. And how far ahead, like, are you doing the calendar for the whole year? Do you always do the same event so that you keep it simple, or do you vary? So let's start with that. And guys, put your questions in the chat, raise your hand, queue up, because we want you to interact and ask questions. And actually, before we dive deeper with Jessica, I want to do a little bit of a public service announcement here, because I told you guys I'm wearing this shirt for a reason, right? So we're doing a pre-sale pre-sale exclusive. We don't even have, you know, everything out and ready yet. So you guys are the first ones to know, other than the people that attended last year's build. All right, so we let those people know. But build tickets are already out for Build at C25. All right, and Jessica was there. We had an amazing time. This year, the ticket prices are dramatically better, lower. The cheap is a higher luxury, amazing experience out of Miami, world class. You guys are going to love it. The family is going to love it if you're coming with your family. This is going to be as magical as it's been, you know, the last couple of years that we've done cruises. So you do not want to miss it. So BillAtSea.com is where you can pre-register. Again, this is not for the public. Don't start sharing this. Don't start going around. This is for you guys to pre-register. You can submit an inquiry. You can find out the prices. Remember, prices can go up the more bookings that happen. So we're giving you an opportunity to be the first ones to book. It's a 4-night cruise. One of the big feedbacks last year was that, hey, you know, I wish it would have been one more night. One more night would have been perfect. You got it. We gave you one more night. And, you know, we're going to the Bahamas. We're going to a private island. And in this ship, you can actually upgrade to the yacht club for a small nominal fee and get access to private exclusive amenities that are only available in the yacht club. So again, amazing opportunity. And early bird tickets for the conference are $195. So get that deal while you can. And we're gonna have amazing speakers as usual, and we want to see you guys there. So BillAtSea.com. Just submit an inquiry. You're not booking anything. You're not putting credit cards. You're just finding out, okay, what's the lowest ticket price right now for the cabin that I want. Grab those ocean view balcony cabins if you want them, because you know there's a limited amount of those usually, and just take advantage of the opportunity. All right. So let's go back to Jessica. Of course, the family is welcome. You're like, come on, bring them all. More and merrier. Yeah, that's why we're doing them before school starts. This is the beginning of August. So, you know, it moves us away from the highest tier pricing. Because again, we're trying to make this an experience that everybody can take advantage of. All right. So, you know, July is usually peak season. So we're like right after on the 3rd of August, and school hasn't started. It's the last weekend usually, and you guys can take massive advantage. Bring the kids, bring the significant other, and you know, let's make it a tax deductible family vacation. Who wants a tax deductible family vacation? All right, let's do it. All right, Jessica. So let's get back to you. So planning. Let's go into planning and what you do to prepare all of this.
Yes. So I am a huge proponent of the 12-week year. And so really just revisiting my business every quarter and looking at my financials, looking at my goals, looking at and just readjusting things. So I do encourage you guys to have an event once a quarter, whatever that looks like. And something that I forgot to share is that I'll call them mini events, but it's just having coffee or lunch with people throughout the week. So I do 2 coffees and 1 lunch every week with somebody. And those are very easy. I have my top 200 in my sphere of influence. So those are my A++ clients. And I just kind of look through, I've got them on a Google sheet. So it's nothing fancy. Don't get bogged down on it. I don't have it in my CRM. Just have a list. And I just will look at that list once a week or, you know, a week before. And I would say, okay, hey, I'd like to treat you to coffee next Tuesday at such and such. And then they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for thinking of me. So again, the purpose of the event isn't me having coffee with them. Obviously, I would love to have coffee with them. But a lot of times I'm going to ask 6 or 7 people before I get that yes. But I've just touched 6 or 7 people in a very authentic and real way. Hey, I'd like to treat you to coffee. I'd like to treat you to lunch. And then when I think about like, who am I going to invite to lunch? I am looking at anybody in my, in that top 100 But then if I want to add somebody, like we had a political election a couple months ago, and one of the candidates I really enjoyed. And so I reached out to him and I said, hey, could I treat you and your wife to lunch? Well, that is now somebody else that is now in my database. So yeah, clients, vendors, I am telling you what, treat your vendors well. I have been top of mind with my vendors, especially my insurance guy. Like, I know he knows a million real estate agents, right? But if I'm doing things like asking him to lunch, asking him to coffee, and asking him to just come to these events, they're good on top of mind. So that is what keeps you top of mind is being consistent in your outreach. When it comes to planning these other larger events, I say to give yourself a little bit of time, but make the don't get to a point where you choose not to do the event versus doing the event. Sometimes we have that analysis paralysis where you're like, I gotta have the location, I gotta have a caterer, I gotta have all these things. The things that I gave you guys today, this is relatively easy because somebody else is planning the event. You just show up and use it and invite people to it. And even like my community, they have postcards to invite people to the event. They give me the postcards for free because they need to have people come into the community. And so I'm just piggybacking off of what they're already doing. So did that answer your question, Carlos?
Excellent. Yeah, absolutely. But I do want to dive into something you mentioned by, just in passing, right? The 12-week year. All right. So tell us a little bit about that and how that plays into you executing these events.
Yeah, so the 12-week year, there's a book written on it. It kind of goes by quarters. It is just like looking at my business at the beginning of the year. I think all of us are kind of looking at our businesses and saying, okay, what do we want this first 12 weeks to look at? A lot of times, we'll plan, I want to have, I want to make 100,000 this year. Well, that's like a 12-month goal. And then you get to August and September and October, and you're like, there's no way I'm going to make that goal. And then you start to get into your mind, oh my gosh, I'm a failure. I didn't do it. I thought I was going to do it. Now I'm not going to do it. But it's because you didn't have the right systems in place. And so I just encourage agents to reevaluate your business every 12 weeks. And so I'm going to be looking at my 12 weeks and just, wondering, okay, what is my event for that 12 weeks? Like I said, I've kind of transitioned to where I'm really summer heavy because I do sponsor the full concert series. So I'm doing an event every Friday for those months, May, June, July, August, and September. So that's where I'm spending a lot of my time. But as a newer agent, or when I got started, it was okay. What is that event? You guys, we have a minor league baseball team fairly close. I've gotten the tickets and gone there. We have a pumpkin patch with the corn maze. I've gotten tickets and met people there. So I just kind of look at ways to just use what's already available and not overcomplicate it because it's not worth overcomplicating this piece.
Very good. Now, was this a strategic to be part of these events, or this was something that you've always loved and always took part of it, and then you decided, why not make it part of my business?
So no, it was strategic and it wasn't anything that I had looked at before. When I went from owning the brokerage and having the team to an independent producing agent, I was really good at telling agents, you need to call, spend your time to, here, like 50 calls a day, talk to 100 people a day. Like I was good at doing the rah, rah, cheer, cheer thing. But when I closed all that and I just kind of settled back into being an independent producing agent, I wanted to find something that I could do long term, something that I was passionate about. And so I hired a coach and then we kind of modeled where I'm at from a coaching, through coaching and mentoring because I'm not going to cold call or door knock. You won't find me do that. And this suits my personality. It's grown into something that suits my personality, but it wasn't something I was really doing much before. But it just has evolved into now I'm known as the real estate agent who's on the square during the concert series, or amongst my friends and family, they're just like, I can't believe you are so busy. How do you have time to meet with me for lunch or for coffee? But what they don't know is like, that's part of my business plan. It makes like it, yes, I'm busy, but we always have to be lead generating, guys, even when we are busy. And so that's just a way that I can lead generate and be Yeah, and then set a time. Like when you sit down, like, hey, I know we're busy. We've only got an hour, or whatever. And then that way, you guys, the expectation is that, because sometimes people hope to talk forever and ever, and I'm like, I gotta get back into life. So make sure you just set that expectation.
Love that. Yeah, making sure you said that up front. Very good. So when it comes to the impact that this has had in your life, obviously you mentioned how be careful what you wish for, right? And rising to the top for the sake of rising to the top is not necessarily what you recommend for everybody. So you made that switch. How has that impacted your lifestyle, your well-being, and your business as a whole?
Yeah, so much, because now I get to pick with the clients who I want to work with. So like now I'm at a place where I can pick and choose. I can refer those like lower hanging fruits, those sign calls, like those are going to be being referred out. So I get to really pick who I'm going to be working with. Um, and I've structured a business I can be proud of. When when you're working with people who are being referred to you, they respect your boundaries way more than a Zillow lead, or one of those types of leads, because those types of leads, we do have to be fast. We have to be quick. We have to make some decisions that might compromise our personal boundaries because of that type of business. But when I'm working with a business that comes in by a way of referral, I don't have a problem saying, "Oh, don't work on Sundays. If there's a house that you need to see on a Sunday, I've got agents who will back me up and they'll be happy to show it, but I'm not going to be the one that's going to be working." And so it's by transitioning it into this type of space, I now have way more control. I had control before. It wasn't as perceived as much because I felt like I needed to keep jumping and jumping fast. But now the business, it's more relaxed, it's easygoing, there's boundaries, they respect my boundaries. So my overall well-being has changed dramatically by just being intentional with my sphere of influence. And if you guys look at the National Association of Realtor statistics between the buyers and the sellers, they those statistics are so high. I meant to have that copy, but I don't have it. But I think it's like 94% of sellers will use an agent they either know or were referred to them. And it's about the same for buyers. They will either use an agent that they know or referred to them. And so if you kind of just look at that one statistic, we need to know a lot of people. And so we need to figure out how to get in front of those people. And yes, buying those leads and all of those things are ways to get in front of those people. But I think it's wise to start planning, how are you going to love on your database and what makes sense for you.
Absolutely. And what I love about this business is that it's a business you can design based on the lifestyle that you want to live, right? There's no right or wrong answer. Fits you and what do you want that life to be like. And I love the referral generation, and obviously you've shown that you can produce at a high level. I mean, being a two-time icon that's not easy to do, and you've done it with this system. Now what I found is that this can't be a wish. This has to be a system, has to be systematic. You have to be intentional and sit down and say, hey, what will be my event this next quarter, right? So March ends Q1. So what are you going to do Q2? This is GAP. This is all about growth, action, production. So what actions do you need to take now? What do you need to put in your calendar now? Maybe next week you sit down and focus on, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm going to either do an event or leverage somebody else's event in Q2. I'm going to get it done, and I'm going to take that action, right? And I'm heading in that direction, okay? So put that in your calendar and make that commitment to make it happen. That's why you're here. You invested the time. Don't be a tourist and just show up to Vegas, hang out, and then leave, and that's it. No. Become a resident. Let's make sure that you're learning, growing, and implementing. The second thing that I wanted to point out when it comes to the way that you're doing things is the lower cost right? Like, your marketing costs are much less than if you had to pay for those portal leads, Realtor, Zillow, and all of that. Nothing wrong with that business model. It's a scalable business model. However, if you can generate icon level production without incurring those costs that can sometimes be hundreds of thousands of dollars if you're looking to scale big, that's definitely a part of a business that needs to be leveraged, right? So for the average event, what would you say is your budget or your expenditure, or how much do you budget per quarter for this strategy?
Yeah, I would say between 500 and $1,000 is usually where I'm at when I factor in postage and my time, and if I'm going to have flyers to hand out, that type of thing. I do try to keep my costs relatively low, so my impact is high on a low cost. So yeah, it's very, very affordable to do any of these. Like even if you guys just did the balloon and see me at this event just to say hello. Like, but if you mail that card and you text them, I'm going to be at the event, that's where the magic is.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, you have to fail forward, right? You're not a master at this. So, your first event, maybe only 2, 3 people show up. Hey, maybe you need to expand your database, make some new friends while you're there. But then you grow from there. That's what it's all about. The biggest value for us as agents is our database. Period. The end. So nurturing that database and leveraging, the contacts that we have to create new opportunities, create new contacts, leveraging the vendors like Jessica shared, absolutely powerful. So that's very, very key. How tech heavy are you as far as CRMs and, sending things? No, you're like, I'm old school. Tell us a
I'm
little bit
so
about
old
that.
school. I'm so old school, guys. Like, CRM, I've got KV Core, right? But I live and breathe in my Google Sheet just because if I'm doing a mass mailing to everybody in the database, sometimes it makes sense for me to outsource that to send out cards or a postcard company. And I just upload that database. So it's easy. It's a CSV file. I just upload it and away it goes. Or I print the mailing labels or have it and I just handwrite that. And then I don't do bulk emails. People have asked me, why don't you just send a bulk email to all your people? I don't want to be flagged as spam and I want it to come across more authentically. So yeah, it might take me, an hour to send out, 100 some emails, but it's a copy paste. Like it's not like I'm rewriting things. Every now and then it might be like, hey, how did that vacation go or something where I can do that. Um, but yeah, it's I'm not tech heavy. This is a simple
I love
process.
it. Somebody's asking Google Business Profile. How much do you leverage that?
So I have figured out Google Business. I have attended some classes back in 2020. Yes, I utilize my Google Business profile at a high level. That probably accounts for about 5 to 10% of my business, but it's all organic. I don't pay for any leads, so everything that I do is organic. But what I have found is like if somebody refers me, then that person who's been referred to me usually goes to Google and looks at my profile before calling me. And so I do make it a point to keep my Google Business profile active. And if you guys want a free bonus uh, bonus little nugget, be very proactive in giving the businesses in your community reviews, but not just give them the review. Watermark the picture. So if you guys want to go and look at me, I'm Jessica Wade, real estate agent in Gainesville, Georgia. But when I'm giving reviews, I put a little watermark on my review that says Jessica Wade Realtor. And so, like, if I'm at a restaurant and I love their whatever it is that they've sent me, sitting in front of me, the meal, take a picture of it and then I'll watermark it and then I'll add that review. I taught that to a couple of other agents recently, and the lady went into the bar, ordered her drink, took a picture of the drink, watermarked it. Well, as soon as she posted that review, she was still in the bar, and the bar owner came and found her and was like, "Thank you so much for making that review." So that little piece was really very successful. So, part of my sphere are the local small businesses. And so if I'm giving those reviews, but I also make it a point to keep my business page active. And then that keeps me top of mind as well.
That is genius. I love it. I mean, Guys, again, no excuse to take action here. Like literally, there's so many amazing nuggets, simple things that you can leverage that will add 1, 2, 3, 10 transactions this year to your business. And that's what we're doing here in GAP. These replays are going to be posted in the Global Alliance University. They're also posted in YouTube. Make sure you guys take advantage of it. Jessica, thank you so much for coming here, delivering massive value, giving us all your secrets. I mean, it's not every day that you have a two-time icon willing to share abundantly what's working for them and what's gotten them to the top. So guys, keep coming. Keep inviting people to this environment. This is where we all grow. We take action and we level up our production. So thank you, Jessica, again. Appreciate you. Guys, book your ticket for Build. Make sure you check out the prices and, show some love to Jessica, connect with her, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.